Welcome to the 30th episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your host, AJ Camarado. I don't know why I just said my last name. We never do that. So now everybody knows my last name. Yes, I am Italian, and I am from Crafted in NJ. With Nick over at MPG Creations and Josh over at North Country Woodworking. What's going on, guys?
Oh, not much. Just, just here with you guys having a good time. But I would like to take a chance and thank our sponsors before we go any further. So with that being said, we'd like to thank TotalBoat. They provide quality epoxy products with outstanding customer service. And you can check them out on their Instagram, Facebook, or on their website at TotalBoat.com. And next up, StickerBeat. They have amazing custom stickers at affordable prices. Use your promo code SawdustNation with no spaces for 20% off today. And back to you, AJ. How was that for natural?
It was very, very good. I would have never known that you wrote that down. And
it just flowed, man. You did so well. I'm proud of you. I have a tear in my eye because I'm so proud.
I just ordered some new stickers because of that, and I ordered $1,000 worth of TotalBoat stuff because you convinced me. You definitely did.
I've been drinking the Kool-Aid now for a while, and I totally just unloaded and bought a bunch of stickers off StickerBeat, so I can't wait till they come in. But I did use the promo code.
Everything.
Oh, everything.
Did you?
You guys hear that? I mean, like, MPG is going to have his stickers. So if
I will have stickers.
Yeah, so hit them up.
Exactly.
Definitely.
If you want a sticker, shoot me a DM or slide into my DMs, and I will go ahead and get one out to you. I would love to do some trading. I know people have been trying to get me to trade for a while, but I haven't had anything to trade them, so here I come. But
nice.
Real quick, I gotta know, Josh, what's going on in your shop?
Well, since you got to know so bad, we'll take a quick look at what's going on in the shop. Yeah, it's going to be a good episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're already laughing. AJ's crying. It's interesting. But the coin holder, I am pretty much almost done with that. I just need to stain the rest of it. I had to order some more stain and waiting on that to come in. I went ahead and used the Glowforge to produce the cannons for the center crest. And painted those yellow, and then the outer border went ahead and did that black. So it's going to be yellow cannons, black border, and then a red background. And all the coin holders, the slots there, are going to be actually black. So it's going to be the coloration of the insignia for the person I'm giving it to. And then the family home sign is complete. I actually just finished that up, waiting for them to return. And they're going to go and pick that up and give it as a gift for someone that's going to be moving here shortly. So it's another project out of the shop, and it was fun. It was a fun little project to knock out. I have the kitchen helper I am designing. It's something that I would like to start continuing doing. So it's going to be something I'm trying to make templates for and make it a fast process. So you should be seeing that in the shop here soon. Boy Scouts dropped over some templates for wood. I'll be doing up some things for them on the laser. Unfortunately, I can't do it on the Glowforge because the plaques are just a little too big. And I'm going to have to do it outside on the laser. But, that's why I have to. I can do either or, and I'm not limited. So I'm very fortunate when it comes to that. And talking about lasers, I had a hold of someone today and helped them out with their project.
Who was that?
AJ, I don't know. It could have been yourself. You had a little trouble finding some wood, and I had some wood for you. So I went ahead and lasered that up for you and sent it your way.
I quit. I can't do this anymore. I can't. This is a family show.
Oh my gosh. We're not even 5 minutes in.
Yeah, we didn't even hit 5 minutes in, and we're all ready.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I had some draft board and you needed something lasered. I lasered it up for you and I sent it your way. I'm very happy to, help a friend in need. And, it was nice working with another maker on a project. But, with that, I also finally got the 3D projects I had to, get out of the shop and they're sent away. They are getting a little bit of extra goodies because they were patient and, allowed me to do the things I needed to do to make it proper and a legit product. Because, I'm learning Fusion like most of you guys out there. And it took me a little minute to get to where I wanted with those and produce a good 3D printed project for them. But with that, I have a 20-hour print going on right now. And I'll be showcasing that when it's done. It's about 7 hours in. So that's all the excitement going on in my shop currently. So AJ, I have to know what's going on in your shop.
I really don't like how you did that. First, you tell me about something that I don't want to repeat. Now you're saying it in a low voice. This episode's getting weird.
AJ, man, all I did is send you some wood. You needed wood. I gave you some wood. It's in the mail.
I don't like it. I don't know. All right. Anyway, before I get the chills and have to walk away. First, I need to know: do you have enough filament on that spool so you don't run out again?
Okay, so AJ's calling me out. So I
Big
the other night I had a 7-hour print. I was about 2 hours in, and I went to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night like I do when I have a print that I know is going to complete, midway through the night. Come down, and I'm like, well, it looks done. Walk over, and I ran out of filament. So I do have a filament sensor on order. It's not that expensive. It's going to be in addition to the 3D printer. So when I run out of filament again, because anyone with a 3D printer, I hope this isn't just me, but when you look at the filament spool, it looks like there's a lot left. And that is not the case. So what a sensor does is basically senses that you're out of filament and then pauses the machine essentially. So when you come back, you can replace it with filament and it will continue where it picked off and you don't lose a print that's about 4 or 5 hours in. So to answer your question, sir, this is a brand new roll of filament. And if I ran out, I'd be very sad because there's absolutely no way that I could print that much filament on this bed and this printer and go through an entire roll. So,
yeah. No, I got you. Well, it's good that you got enough filament on it. And those rolls definitely look like you're going to have enough, because I just ran into that the other day where I definitely have enough for the next, I forget, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours left. And I come back down, I don't know, about half an hour later, I was like, well, I need to change it out because I'm going to run out in like a minute. So got that all changed out and everything was fine. But since you really wanted to know what was going on in my shop, all I have to say is orders are flying in, and I know I've said it before, but people are coming out of the woodworks on ordering stuff, from flags to the stuff I have on Etsy, which is some guitar stands. I actually have a possible order for a coffee table that I did for Kim's parents. So they just want to pick out their color first, go on Minwax's site, see what they got, and then go from there. And, they actually requested pine, which I thought was fine, because, that's what I was going to build it out anyway. Unless they told me they really wanted it out of walnut, and then I'd have to break their hearts and tell them that it's not going to cost the price that it's on there. It's going to be much more. But, tons of flags. What else? Right now I have about 30 open orders, and I don't know how I'm going to get through them, and they just keep coming in. And I'm overwhelmed, if you couldn't tell. I'm putting on a smile, but I'm crying deep down inside as another order. I came up the other night very disappointed that somebody ordered another guitar stand off of Etsy, and I was like, I'm excited because it's another order, and but I was highly disappointed because now that's another order that I have to do. So I just got a lot of stuff that's going on. But I do have one thing that I have to do is one of those stove toppers. Never did one. I got to actually make two. I got to make one for my father, and then another one that a coworker asked me about for her friend. I got to make it, and they want it in a dark color. And I priced it out in pine at first, and then her friend, was toying around the idea of doing it as a stovetopper cutting board. So now I don't want to use pine because I don't want to stain it. I don't want to, clear it. So I'm going to make it out of walnut, and I'm very excited about that because it's walnut. And then I think I got to do an engraving on it, which I don't know how I'm going to do and not have food go in it if they're going to use it as a cutting board. I'm thinking maybe epoxy inside it. I don't know.
Some clear epoxy so you still get the depth of the cut and the safety of having it sealed.
I ran into this the other day when I just filled a knot hole in a piece of ash that I used the slow hardener. I don't know why you guys are laughing. I didn't say anything. Nick is literally, I've never seen, in the few times that we've been on this, I have not seen Nick laugh this hard. I don't even think last episode I saw him laugh this hard. You okay over there, buddy?
I'm just listening to you talk about filling that knot hole in that piece of ash with your slow hardener.
Oh, yep.
Now that
it's gonna be that episode.
You put it that way. Oh my god! Now that you put it that way, it sounded worse the second time round. But anyway,
man, that's good.
What?
Drink some Bang. It's awesome, man.
Now he's oh Jesus Christ. Why? And Nick can't. Look, we're gonna have Nick crying.
Going.
All right.
Sorry.
Anyway.
I can't help it if I'm 12.
We're all 12 at heart. But anyway, I filled it and I noticed that the container that I had actually got hot. It was starting to smoke. Now I did the container. Oh, Jesus. I'm talking about epoxy, people. You okay? Everybody okay?
I'm gonna have to turn Nick's video off because I don't know if I can function.
But anyway, why? I'm also gonna say that I did one pump to one pump, and then another pump to another pump. So in essence, I had 2 pumps of the hardener.
I can't stop.
Do you want me to slow it down a little bit and talk about this?
I'm gonna take the earbuds out. I can't.
So
we're
back to
professionals.
this,
We can do this.
Yes, in 3.
So you were
2,
talking about
1,
pumping and
yes,
Yep.
I was talking about pumping, filling knot holes with the hardener, and I have a lot of air bubbles in it, and I don't know why. But like I said, it reacted and it got hot in the container, which I had once before because I know that the mix ratio was wrong. But if I'm using the pumps to calculate it out, then I'm kind of curious on why. Now the container was brand new. It's not like I had extra epoxy in there from a previous pour or anything like that. I did literally 1-to-1, and next thing I know, it was getting hot. And I started for about 3 minutes, and I look at the knot hole where I filled, and it's full of air bubbles.
So, okay. I've ran into this personally myself when it comes to when you're using the pumps. You got to make sure the pump is fully up, and then you pump it fully down. And if you don't do that, you will not get the appropriate amount, and you will actually get the thermal reaction that you were seeing. So it's possible that it was just enough for it to cause that.
What I'm thinking is I do full pumps in my shop, and it's every single time. And I go I do it slow so that I know that it's all the epoxy resin is coming out in that one pump.
Well, I just want to make sure that you're not a half pump guy. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I went to go push the pump down, and a little bit of air came out. But that was before but I caught it before any resin started coming out. And so I'm thinking that maybe there was still more air in it. Maybe it was just that little bit off. That
it's possible. Yeah.
Next time I do it, I'm just going to do one pump, and then try it. I want to see if that's going to react. Maybe there really is something wrong with the the pump itself, and maybe it is picking up air. Maybe I don't think I'm low on that stuff because I just got it, that slow hardener. So
it's very possible, man. I mean, like what I do as a technique is I have those little ice trays for like Star Wars that I put magnets on, and like if it's a new container, I'll actually go ahead and mix them up and I'll throw some in there to see how it's reacting to make sure the pumps have the air out, they're mixing appropriately, and that way I'm not pouring something that has so many variables into a project that I just spent how many hours on as well. But I mean, like, it might help you in the long run to do something like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I had this reaction once before where, because you're not holding the container the whole time. After you pour it, you put the container down. And the only reason I knew it was reacting was you smelt it in the air. Like I smelt this overwhelming scent of epoxy, and I'm going like, I know it has a little bit of a scent to it, but as soon as I touched the container, it was pretty hot. And I just put it to the side and let it cool off by itself. But anyway, other than that, yes, you helped me out big time today because for some reason 1/8-inch MDF is non-existent in this world right now, and I'm not sure why. Home Depot, Lowe's does not carry it. Local lumber yards don't carry it. Actually, another lumber yard that I called does have hardboard, but I don't think I could use that only because if I'm not mistaken, it has a coating on it, and it's a little bit different than MDF. I think it's about the same, but a little bit different. So I didn't want to chance it, get a whole sheet of it, and then I'm kind of screwed on that project. So I messaged you, Josh, and you helped me out big time, and I can't wait to get that stuff so I can get that project done as well. So now that we are all done laughing, Nick looks like he's composed. Nick, not just I, but the whole world wants to know.
World.
Yes. What is going on in your one-car garage shop?
Man, got a lot of stuff going on. Simultaneous projects being built. I'm down to 7 orders left until I'm completely finished with what's on my plate right now. But it never fails. Things just like I'll get like down to 3 orders and then I'll get like 4 more right away. But it's all good. As long as I can keep up and keep producing these products as fast as I am with that quality that I'm putting in them, then I'll continue to do this until I have to actually shut down. But I have a flag that I'm working on. I think I spoke on it last episode. I got commissioned on that day, I believe. But now it's actually come to fruition. The flag is beautiful. It's got curly maple white stripes, and nice. The rest of the flag's walnut. So your union and your stripes are walnut. And then behind it, I have the actual weapon cabinet constructed. Mm-hmm. I just have to take everything apart, finish it. I put it together to always test the fit before I actually put the finish on. But I got to deconstruct it and then go ahead and finish everything, then re-put it back together and hand it off to the customer. Likewise, my CNC operation's going pretty well. I've got a couple more CNC flags or carved flags to work on. And then I have strangely enough, the other day I got a message from a guy in Ramstein, Germany, over in K-Town on Ramstein Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. And they ordered a large plaque. So I got to give a shout out to the Phoenix Ravens out there for hooking me up with the business. So I've got my materials, and I'll be ready to start that as soon as I'm done with this weapon rack. Nice. Other than that, picked up a couple new tools. Nothing really major, just a countersink. And I'd like to mention I did get the Odiesoil in. It came in today, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on some bread later and see how it tastes. No, it
smells fantastic.
Well, I heard it smells fantastic, but it is food safe, so that's what I'm.
Yes,
we'll go check that out.
It also makes your hair nice and shiny too. It's good to use it as a leave-in conditioner.
So it's like
not so much on yours, Josh.
No thanks.
So it's like one of those dual tonics from the old West.
It is. You know, like if you have some dry skin, you just put it on your hands, you rub it together, then you touch the piece of, wood, as you want to say, and then you rub it into there, and your hands feel nice and smooth, and so does the wood.
So Odiesoil and Elixir.
This is not the official stance of the Sawdust Nation podcast. Do not use it in other means other than put it on wood and polish.
Yeah, we would never condone that or promote that. So, but that's really all that's going on in my shop. Just kind of been plugging away. So,
Are you, with the move coming up, are you getting excited for it, or is it kind of like a hard feeling having to pick up and, you've been doing a lot of crazy stuff out of this shop, so it's like, you're so used to it, and going somewhere new, I could only imagine could be a little bit difficult.
So I can't wait to move into a larger shop. I'm so sick and tired of walking up and down a center aisle of my garage because I don't have the space. I don't have an assembly table. I'll use my table saw for that. So it's really just I'm so excited. And I found a coworker of mine on my day job. He owns a house in my new town I'm moving to in Texas, and he's going to rent me his house. So everything I want is coming to fruition, and I'm ready to go.
Unfortunately, that means I have to leave you two knuckleheads up here in New Jersey, but I'll still be online with you guys for Sawdust Nation podcast. So we'll see each other every week.
Of course. I mean, you're going to get all the Texans down there to listen to the Sawdust Nation and to become part of it.
That's right, brother. The stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
So, man, I think having a bigger shop's gonna definitely help you, in your growth, because like we all feel a small shop and how we want to progress and move with different tools and our flows, and you definitely have a great operation going in what you have now, and with more space, I can only see it getting better.
I appreciate that, man. I'm hoping for the best. I've got some big plans. I'm already starting to do shop layout on paper.
Nice.
But other than that, yeah, I can't really put the cart before, or the horse before. What is it? The cart before the horse?
The cart before the horse.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have to do some things in order to get able to move that require me going through my job. So, and I'm just not there yet. I'm not within that window, but we're getting there.
Now, one last question about the move. What are you dreading most about, like, what piece in your shop are you dreading most about moving?
Well, so I really don't want to have to load my CNC cart by myself. So the whole cart that's housing my CNC machine.
Is that one right behind you? That one that has...
Yeah, the far right there.
Wow.
Far right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Now I know why.
It's a big cart. It's on casters. I'm going to unload everything else that's in it. Like, I'll take the drawers out and put I have a air compressor that's behind it on the bottom side. I'll take that off. But the problem is it's so awkwardly big that I'm going to have to load it into a U-Haul, because I do not trust anybody from any moving company. No offense if you work for the moving company, but I don't trust anybody touching my babies like that. I've seen a lot of horror stories on people's tools and equipment either getting picked up and dropped or ending up in a pawn shop somewhere. So I'm just not even gonna risk it. But yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see how you're going to pack up your shop, because eventually I'm going to have to do the same. So it's going to be a learning curve for, I think, both of us. I'm going to take some notes.
Well, I have an idea of what so like my toolbox, my giant toolbox that I have for all my ratchets and wrenches, automotive tools and all that. I'm just going to pack that up, pack the tools up that are in it, and I'll have the movers take the box. But everything, all the little, like the smaller tools are coming with me in the trailer or in the back of my truck. This way I can minimize the amount of space I'm using in the trailer as best possible, because I still have like 2 full lumber racks to take with me. I got a bunch of 8-quarter walnut, and I got a bunch of 4-quarter and 3-quarter wood up here on my wall. So.
I know a shop that's I know a shop up in northern Jersey.
Thank you, AJ, for go ahead and telling them that my shop is open for that. I appreciate
No,
you
northern
reaching
Jersey.
But
So
I probably will. Excuse me. I probably will have some wood that I want to get rid of by the end. But it's not going to be anything significant.
Even all my larger scraps and cutoffs, I'm going to box up and take with me, just because.
cool.
It's wood's so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Just know you have 2 shops that are willing to house your wood while you're gone.
Yeah, maybe I have somebody watch my Powermatic scooter, so you guys have been talking about stealing my scooter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to hand it over, I mean, I'll take great care of it. I don't know about Josh though. He might use it as a real scooter, since we mentioned it, and that you'll be seeing it on the news that there's a crazy guy riding a tool down the street.
A joiner, yeah. So
Yes.
for those of our listeners who haven't listened to this podcast during that episode, the Powermatic scooter is the nickname for my Powermatic jointer that I have. Anyway,
Is its name really Scooter?
It is now.
It is now. I have a label maker. I'm going to make it right now.
That's
great.
awesome.
So,
But,
I
we-
mean, you want to go into it?
Yeah.
ahead.
We have a couple questions that were sent in, and one from our good listener Sam, and he has 2 questions for the podcast. And he wrote, I reckon you have connected with woodworkers from all across the world. Are there any woodworking trends that you have noticed to be different in other countries? Any tips you've picked up from those woodworkers that are not often used in the United States? And then lastly, he writes, and what is your favorite type of sandwich?
He didn't write that, did he?
Yeah, he
Absolutely did.
Wow.
And then it got me hungry.
Yeah. Okay. So, AJ, what do you have?
Well, I mean, the stuff that I've seen, because I'm on Instagram as you guys are, we see a lot of stuff from all around the world. It's just not U.S. based. And I could say that a lot of the accounts that I have seen, one thing I did notice that it's not a woodworking trend per se, but it's something that they have to deal with is maybe this was the few accounts that I saw, but a lot of small shops. Like, it was much smaller than like what I got, and they had to deal with what, they were given. They have this small shop, but they made amazing pieces out of that small area. And that just goes to show that you can make it out in kind of any room that you have. Trends, I'm not really too sure of. So I'm probably not the best to answer that. But sandwiches, I would, that's going to be a hard one. I could go for a good roast beef on white bread with some coleslaw on it. That's some good stuff. I could really go for that right now. As you can tell, I'm hungry.
Well, now I am.
So-
Thanks a lot.
No problem. And Josh, what about you?
Well, I've connected with some woodworkers from overseas, and I haven't noticed any trends like AJ. Nothing. It seems like in the woodworking community, especially on Instagram, we're all kind of in the same beat when it comes to certain things and how we do certain things as well. I mean, everyone might have a different technique or, an interesting new way to accomplish something, but we're all sharing it, and it's like a melting pot. So it all gets all mixed up in there, and we all, try different things, and you're not really sure where what technique might have came from, but it sounds great, and you try it, and it works well in your shop. But I will go with AJ about the small shops. There are a lot out there, and you can take a lot of notes on those. But the one thing I do see is overseas accounts have a lot of trouble getting some of the bigger name brand tools that we have in the USA. Sometimes Fez Tool or just like just big brand names. They have some of the similar names over there where it's like a tool that, looks really like ours. But it's a different brand. But that's about it when it comes to that. And as far as my favorite sandwich, it would have to be a Reuben.
I like the Reuben sandwiches.
Nailed it.
Man, he really sounded like really craving that one. I really like a Reuben.
So I've been quite a few places around the world, and I've noticed a few different things on my travels. So I know Josh does a lot of traveling since he flies, but I've been to Ethiopia before, and I noticed, and I'm not certain on if it's just like subject to just Ethiopia or if it's all in like the eastern part of Africa, but there's a lot of detail that they hand carve into items such as tables and even when I was staying in a hotel over there, even the trim around the door and the baseboards all had what looked like hand carved patterns into them, which is outstanding because you know how hard it is to carve wood and make it look consistent by hand.
Mm-hmm.
But and you could tell it was by hand because it was consistent enough to where when you're standing up and looking at it that it looks uniform. But when you get down close to it, there's those inconsistencies to it.
Yep.
But other than that, I noticed I love watching. I follow a few German woodworkers on Instagram, and I love watching them work and seeing what kind of products they produce. I know the Germans are very efficient with how they do their work, and I've also taken a couple pages on the tools, just taking note on what kind of tools they use. So I mean, I started purchasing Festool and I use Bosch. So other than that, though, my favorite sandwich is great old greasy American cheeseburger with bacon. That's my favorite.
And blue cheese. You can have some blue cheese on there.
I mean,
Wait
you
a
can.
minute. I didn't know that we were adding burgers to this. I didn't know a burger was considered a sandwich.
It's meat bread.
Meat bread in between two slices. Cheese.
Oh man, I wish I attacked this differently.
Weird question, but would you consider a hot dog a sandwich then?
No, it's considered a hot dog.
I've actually had a hot dog sandwich before, though. So I ran out of buns, and I had to split the wiener down the middle and butterfly it and put it on a piece of bread. Serious.
Yeah, works.
But, well, I've done that before. You take white bread, you take the dog, you just slap it in, and you're done. Same thing.
Actually, going back to Nick's answer, I will say that I did learn about some tools off of overseas accounts like Bridge City. The first time I ever seen their products shown was through a maker, and he was sent some products to review and use, and he did a lot of hand tools. And Bridge City was kind enough to send him some of those tools. And when I saw them there, I was like, wow, those are some beautiful pieces and very accurate. And I actually knew about them before woodpeckers. So just a little side note there.
I was going to say hand tools. If I had to pick anything that I would see mostly used, and that's a hard one to say because I see a lot of U.S. accounts with them using hand tools. But I think the precision that comes, from maybe somewhere overseas comes down to it as hand tools. And I forget who the account's name, but I'm going to probably butcher it. Radix Workshop. If you don't follow him, he's an amazing follow. Has a lot of the Bridge City tools as well. Does amazing content, amazing videos, and a lot of hand tools as well. So I really enjoy watching his videos. Very well put together, very well explained. It's just an overall great account. Go follow it out. We'll put it in the show notes so that you can go check them out. But yeah, I'd have to say hand tools as well. And I have to redo my sandwich. What is the burger on rye? Is that a happy waitress?
Happy what?
You don't know what a happy waitress is, and you're from Jersey? Oh no, you're
I'm
from
not
New York.
I'm from New York.
Ah man, I think it's a happy waitress. I'll let you know.
No worries. So to speak to AJ's point, I look on YouTube quite a bit if I'm trying to find more information regarding some hand tools, just because it's not what I particularly came up with in my woodworking background, and I'm just now starting to venture over into more and more hand tools. But there's a gentleman named Mattestlea on YouTube, and he does a lot of good tool comparisons between different hand tool brands. He does technique videos and all that. So I know he's one of the master woodworkers over there in the UK. So he does a lot of good work.
You took mine. That's exactly who I was referring to. That's when I started looking into woodworking and trying to learn more. I used to watch his videos on YouTube, and he was actually the one I was talking about with the Bridge City review and usage. Yeah, one of my favorite hand tool woodworkers out there. If you want to learn some amazing stuff, he's a go-to.
Yes.
What was that Instagram name again?
Oh, I had his YouTube.
I would have to look him up on Instagram. I think I do follow him. Just give me a moment while I do that.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering because I honestly didn't hear it because I was trying to look up what a burger on rye was. Now that I'm really hungry, and it's called a patty melt, not a happy waitress.
That's what I thought it was called, but you were going down a path. I couldn't help you.
There is something called a happy waitress, though. But anyway,
his Instagram IG account is just his name. No space, nothing. It's just Mattestlea. Probably not pronouncing that right, but
you texted to me.
I'll screenshot it. That way you can.
That's perfect. Then I'll get it in the show notes for everybody, and that you'll be able to go check his stuff out. So we also have another question that got sent in. Well, we're all good with that one. Everybody answered.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Favorite sandwich is complete, man.
I know. I just want to get this episode over with so I can go eat something. Because now I'm really damn. So anyway, not that I don't love you guys. I really enjoy doing this podcast with you, but I would like dinner at some point. Anyway, next question is from Robert Lee over at his Instagram is Brush Fires of Freedom Workshop on Instagram. And his question, if I had it ready, which I do,
we're professionals.
We are professionals. His question is, how do you handle shipping of your flags? I've been making flags and other items for friends and family for a while, but recently decided to get more serious and have no idea how to quote shipping prices, what company to use, or how to package them. Thanks in advance, Robert Lee. So the way I ship flags is I get the flag done last minute, the day it's supposed to go out, and I frantically run around and try to piece together cardboard boxes with a lot of packing tape. And then as I put the flag inside with probably 3 miles of bubble wrap, I forget to put my sticker and business card in there. So now I have to undo the tape and then throw everything in there and then tape it back up. So that's my... and Josh knows this.
Yeah, I know how this goes. I actually have a video on my Instagram, so if you like to see his packaging, I unwrap one of his flags that he sent me, and it was definitely well protected.
I'm coming up with different ways, and I just shipped out. It will be going out tomorrow. A 8-inch tall, 36-inch wide coat rack, same thickness as the flat flags. About 3/4 of an inch. And I wanted to protect it without having to wrap the whole thing with bubble wrap. So what I did was I wanted to find some foam that went around edges. Well, they sell TV corners. So you could put it at, like if you're shipping a TV or something like that. Well, I don't have those. And of course it's last minute, because why would I get a shipment out sooner? I actually found that I had in my basement that I had 1/2-inch pipe insulation. It's black in color, round, and it has a perforated slit on the one side. Well, if you don't want it to be, open like a C, you don't have to. It'll stay round. But what I did was I broke the perforation, slid it on the edges, and it held it off the bottom of the box, and it padded it really, really nicely. And then I put some extra packing on top and like on the sides, just in case like something got crushed by it or whatnot, it wouldn't damage it. But I have to say the whole coat rack was just floating within that box. And that's probably I'm going to honestly go back to Home Depot and get a few more lengths of it, because it looks like just regular black foam. And like I said, it fits on a 3/4 inch flag, no problem. The wavy flags are a little thicker, so I might have to come up with something a little bit different for that. But luckily, I'm not shipping too many flags. I'm shipping a lot of other stuff, though. So I know I've been using ShipNerd for my shipping needs for UPS and whatnot. They do have good prices. I will say you want to be very accurate with your address and don't leave out anything. Whatever the customer gives you, you put exactly down. Because I left out an apartment number or letter, and they actually, I got charged extra because UPS had to re-deliver it. It was a whole big thing. So anyway, I use ShipNerd. I haven't had any problems with them, except I didn't, put down the one letter. But that's my fault. And I also want to try out, what's the other one for USPS?
Pirate Ship? Is that what you're
Yes. That's going to be my next one. I signed up, but I haven't used them yet. Once I get time to sit down and really go over everything, then I'll, see what I could do. But like I said, my shipments, I actually don't ship a ton of stuff, so I'm still new to it, but I am looking at getting regular boxes, not my old Amazon boxes, the old, dishwasher box. I want it to look kind of clean and professional. So I'm changing my packaging game a little bit, in the coming months. But yeah, that's what I got. How about you, Nick? You ship a lot of stuff.
I ship a ton of stuff, and I didn't know anything about those two companies you just mentioned. I just drive my happy behind to the United States Post Office and send it and hope and pray that it gets there. But no, packaging wise, I use a lot of bubble wrap. Usually I'll wrap the item once with bubble wrap, and then I'll build a cocoon of cardboard around it, especially taking note to protect the edges, or the corners, excuse me. The corners are always the first thing to take a hit and chip some wood off.
Yep.
I've lost so much money I've had like 5 or 6 packages before I started wrapping it in cardboard. I've had 5 or 6 packages I had to remake the product inside because of I always get insurance too, but for some reason the United States Post Office never likes to pay out on insurance. I don't know if that's like a false promise on their part, but apparently our products aren't standardized or whatnot. So anyway, I got that answer from them. But long story short, I ship with bubble mailers. So I have the large bubble mailers, and I slide that cardboard cocoon inside the bubble mailers. So you have the bubble mailer, cardboard, and then bubble wrap on the inside of that. Everything's sealed up, and I go through so much tape. I tape that thing. I'll tape it until I mean, you got to think a quarter roll of tape on each package is quite a bit. But other than that, USPS, unless the customer requests UPS. But I will not ship FedEx.
How big are? Because you're saying the bubble mailers, like the Manila kind of color, like the yellowy.
White. They're white. They're about 22 inches long by like 14, 15 inches wide, something like that.
Wow.
I buy them off Amazon. I get a whole box of them of like 50 or 100, and you only spend like. So you buy it. Say you go to the store and try to buy it, you'll get one for like $1.50, $2. But I buy mine from Amazon, and I'll get like 50 or 100 for like $45. So you're saving money in the long run there on your packaging. I'll get my bubble wrap from whichever big box store I can get it from, at who's cheapest at the time. And the tape, that's the same thing, man. That's it.
Okay. About you, Josh?
Well, I haven't really shipped that much. Only shipped a couple things out. A lot to AJ in the last year or so. But
Yeah.
the one major thing I shipped out was a cutting board, and it was during the holiday season. I just made sure I wrapped that thing as much as I could and protect it. Hearing some of the horror stories from Nick and AJ, I kind of had know-how to try to protect it as much as I could. And ride, no issues. A little bit longer than was supposed to, but again, it was during the holiday, so kind of expected. I will be signing up for one of the many shipping companies out there, probably going to do the pirate ship. I hear a lot of good things with that. I know makers that use it, and they swear by it. So with that, I'm probably just going to go on there, go on Amazon and get my packaging, and maybe go to Stickerbeat and get some tape from them so I can, tape that final layer with my logo on it, just to give that extra little professional look. But I think that wraps up that question pretty good. You guys have any other tidbits to add to it?
No, but I would say maybe try doing that little foam trick with yours, Nick. Maybe even putting a little piece of foam on the corner if you don't already. Like I said, I was blown away by how well it actually worked. And it's, like I said, you could get it right at Home Depot.
Yeah, so I mean, like when I ship larger items that are bigger than 11 by 19 or whatnot, I will use, I'll build a crate, put foam in there around the corners and all that stuff. And then I'll get a box or build a box from large pieces of cardboard. But other than that, I'm everything since I started putting the cardboard on the inside of the package, like the cocoon, it has started working. It's been fantastic. Haven't had any complaints or any product injuries.
Nice. Okay. Well, with that, we got some topics that you want to get into, Josh?
Absolutely. We have a couple good topics. One Nick came up with, it's layout tools for under $50. So for people starting out, woodworking is not cheap. So getting into it, there are a few things you're going to want to get. And layout tools are going to be amongst those, because without them, you're not going to get quality products. You need some good tools, especially for layout, to produce a quality product. And Nick, you came up with the topic, man. I want to know your top layout tools for under 50.
So my top 3 layout tools for under $50. So I have, first and foremost, woodpeckers. Now everybody knows their stuff is expensive. However, they make a mini square that is machine milled aluminum. It's stuck at 90. It's maybe about 3 inches tall, and that sucker has saved me so much heartache on any project that I work on, that I have to use a joiner or a table saw or my bandsaw. I always double check to see if my fence is at 90 on my joiner or my blades are at 90 on the table saw or bandsaw. This way I can adjust the table on the bandsaw, or, likewise adjust the blade on the table saw. But that Woodpecker's Mini Square ran me about $32 at Amazon. So, I mean, you might see it and think $32 for that, but in the end, it'll save you a lot more money in messed up materials. So, next up, I have the Veritas wheel marking gauge from LeeValley.com. This marking gauge is outstanding. I know they make a lot of different marking gauges from whether it be Wood River or Lee Nielsen or whatnot, but this marking gauge is legit. I haven't had any issues with it. It does what it's supposed to do. It marks what I need it to mark, and it's just been detrimental to my CNC operation as well, because I use it to help align my gantry on the rails to make sure it's all square. Anyway, that marking gauge ran me $41.50 at leevalley.com. And lastly, and this is the most recent addition of the three to my workshop, is the Narex marking knife with the dual bevel. And on Amazon, that's $27.99. That little thing is sharp. And if you need to make a line on a plank or a board that you're going to cut, that thing will get it as close as humanly possible to where that cut needs to be. So I know I used to use pencils or whatever's laying around, pens, but those marks are a little wider, and every now and then you have something that's just not quite lining up properly just because of that. But this marking knife is it's clutch. Anyway, that's all I got. What about you, AJ? What do you got?
Well, I definitely have to invest in one of those marking knives because I know what you were talking about with the. It might be off just that little bit, and you go to cut it, and now it's too small. So now, real quick, when you do a marking knife, do you do any kind of mark on top of that so you can see it, or is it pretty good that you can actually see it?
As long as you have light in your shop, you should be able to see it, and if you can't see it, you can feel it with your fingernail if you need to find it again.
Nice.
And if you have a really fine pencil, or if you have any pencil really, and you can't find that mark, what I found is I would turn the pencil, like cant the pencil and run it across the plank, and where the break is, that's where the mark is.
Okay.
But yeah, I love
Makes
it, man.
sense. Cool. Well, I really like this topic that you brought up. I know Josh was talking about it before, but my three go-to layout tools would have to be, and I just used them tonight, would be the Clearstyle pocket rules. Clearstyle is the company. They come in 3 different size pocket rules, and they have stops on them so that you could set the depth. And let me tell you, I saw them advertised on, I think it was Instagram, and the big name companies have them. But I said, let me give these a shot, and I have to say they're dead accurate. Don't have any issues with them. I did have one issue. It was a manufacturer defect, so I reached out to Clearstyle, and they took care of it. In a couple of days, I had a brand new one of the rules had a little ding in it. So that great customer service as well. And those went for $49.90. So skating that $50 mark, but definitely well worth it. They come as a 6-inch, 8-inch, and a 12-inch. Definitely well worth having in your shop. And my second layout tool would be 1, 2, 3 blocks. I don't know if you guys ever heard of those, but they're 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch. And I checked it the other day because I needed a 3-inch cut. So I went, instead of me using my tape measure on the table saw, I grabbed the 1, 2, 3 block, and it was quick, simple, and accurate. So, and the pack that I had picked up on Amazon was actually a 2-pack. So I guess in case, you drop it, then you have a secondary. But, you could also put them together, I guess, to make 6-inch, and 4-inch if you really wanted to. And so it's really nice. They went for $22 on Amazon. And my last one would be a digital caliper. I use that for the CNC. Now that I'm getting into Fusion, I'm using the digital caliper even more. I have to measure parts. The other day I did a battery holder for a snap-on battery. So what I did was I measured the whole thing, drew it out on paper, and next thing you know, I have it in Fusion. So it's really nice to have that. It has a LCD display that you can do fraction, inch, or millimeters. And it works out real well. The one that I had gotten was on Amazon, and it was for $20.57. So it's, not too costly, and you'll be using it a ton of times. I know I'm finding myself using it more and more. I have one at my regular job, we use it as in a mechanic shop quite a bit, just to measure in the depth of a hole, the size of a part, the bolts that we use. So it's a tool that you wouldn't think you would use. You go, I got a tape measure, but this is more accurate, and you have the screen that you can read out, and it gives it down to literally, I think it's like 0.00 something. It's an accurate reading. So definitely go pick up your digital caliper on Amazon, and That's what I got. So, what about you, Josh? I'm curious to know, what are your 3 tools?
You guys have named some really good tools, that I would definitely say go out and get right away. I just want to bring up with the woodpecker square that Nick brought up. There is a maker called Drmtoolworks that actually makes something similar, but he actually has holes in it, so it becomes a center scribe too, because it includes these pins.
Yes.
We make squares, and they're incredibly accurate, and it's a smaller maker. I like woodpeckers. I love their stuff. I have their stuff. Try to get some of the makers out there that are a little bit smaller than some of those name brands that are making some amazing stuff. And I just wanted to shout him out real quick. For my top 3, so one of the first layout tools I grabbed off Amazon was $36.95, and it's a double sliding square, and it comes in a set of two, 4-inch and a 6-inch. It's high precision, and I've been using them from day one. I use them almost every time I'm in the shop. I can go ahead and reproduce things fairly easy. I know I have larger ones, but those are they came in that 2-pack, and I absolutely love them. I use them every time I'm in there. And something similar is a Grizzly Machinist squares. Now, they come in 5 different sizes. I use the top 3 sizes the most, and they're about $39.99. And that's how I started checking things for square. That's how I was checking, my fences and everything else in the shop for square. They're good for machinists. They're going to be good for woodworking. The tolerances are much, much smaller than a lot of woodworking measuring tools. And if it's square to those, it's square. No doubt about it. And it's cheaper than, you get a set of 5 different sizes than you would get with some of the other stuff you can buy out there. Now, I was kind of torn with my last one, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Get yourself a good tape measure, a tape measure you can trust.
Okay.
Honestly, when I first started, I told the story a couple different times, so I'm not going to go into it too long, but I had like 3 different tape measures. 2 of them measured the same, but that third one did not. And I was using them back and forth in the shop, and my measurements are getting messed up. One tape measure said this, one tape measure said that. Get yourself a good one that you can, trust, that, is going to be your go-to. I use the Crescent ones, and they're usually around $23.63 on Amazon. And those are great because you can use, both sides have the measurements on them, and they're large. The lines are large. It's easy to see. And they're just, they're really good tape measures. But that's my top 3. All good tools, all stuff you can utilize in the shop and make your woodworking experience much, much easier and better, which is going to make you want to get in the shop a little bit more. But our last topic, I'm excited about this one, is biggest flop tool that you bought. Used once, maybe twice, but then never used because it's such a flop. Nick, I know you're chopping out the bullet here. What is your biggest flop tool?
I'm going to get some flack because, especially for all the red tool guys, which I am a red tool guy. I love the M18 platform. All of my power tools, like my hand power tools, are M18 that are cordless. Now, I thought a few years ago, I need to get a new miter saw. I've got a 7.25 inch miter saw. I needed something bigger, and I wanted to get something nice. So I watched some reviews, and everybody was raving about. Now everybody was raving about the M18 miter saw. But what I didn't realize was everybody that was raving about it was sponsored by Milwaukee. So that's a little lesson learned there. So I go and get the thing. I love it. At first, I'm thinking, man, this thing sounds like, it's got some power, and cutting through 2x4s. Yeah, it's great. You can cut pine all day with it. But for my purposes, cutting hardwood and all that, it didn't serve me well. I would always get kickback no matter what. Even if I stepped my cuts like I do now, I'll score the plank, and then I'll go a little deeper and then all the way through. But always got kickback from the darn thing. I don't think the fence was completely square. And what I mean by that, I know you can adjust the fence to on a normal miter saw and make it square, but I think this thing had a bend in it from the factory. So I would take a square to it after the cut, and nothing ever failed. I was always off by like enough to where it was noticeable when you put pieces together. So unfortunately, I got rid of that. So I got rid of that saw. I had to get rid of it. I couldn't work with it because I just kept banging my head against the wall. And it was a 10-inch model. Now I don't know about the 12-inch model, but other than that, that was my biggest flop. I'm sorry, Milwaukee. I don't like your miter saw, the cordless one. I love the rest of your lineup, though. How about you, AJ?
Oof, that's a good one. I want to say I don't really have something that's on the top of my head, but the only thing I can think of is that jigsaw that Josh and I talked about a couple episodes ago. It's a rigid Fugo jigsaw, and I read great reviews on it. It has great power, this, that, the other thing. And when you turn it on, the thing's a nasty beast because it's got one speed, and that is literally just like a bat out of hell almost, and it's bad. I never liked it from day one, but I stuck with it just because I didn't want to go out and buy something else. Yes. And I have to say, I if I can avoid that thing, I will with every ounce of my body because I don't like using it. I'm looking at getting a cordless one from Milwaukee. I am Team Red, but I do agree with you, Nick. I used it at a buddy's house, and it feels like a toy. We were talking about this before we started recording, but that's exactly what it feels like. It doesn't feel solid. For quick cuts, if you don't really need it to be dead accurate, or it's really good, like as a job site saw because it's portable with the battery, and most of the time you're cutting pine 2x4s, 2x6s. It'll go through that if you don't push it through. And that did hurt a little bit because I am a big fan of Milwaukee, but I do agree with you on that one. So, I think it's that rigid jigsaw for me. What about you, Josh?
Well, it was hard for me to come up with a tool because, like most of the tools I have, I started off with Skill products and then I kind of upgraded. And, we all know how Skill tools can be, but I'm actually going to name off the scroll saw that I bought, not in the very beginning almost. I got it off Marketplace. It was a Craftsman. I brought it home. I started it up. I tried it, brand new tool. And then after that, it just collected dust. Especially with the introduction of my laser and then, later on the CNC, it was a tool that I bought knowing that I wanted to do some of the things it was capable of, but I didn't like how it handled. I didn't like how it cut. It was one of those things I was very uncomfortable using, and it's actually in my garage now. So if anyone wants it for sale, they can have it for $30. It comes with a brand new pack of blades because I used that once. So, but yeah, that was my tool.
So are we allowed to advertise our tools for sale here? Because I can go ahead and list them off in the practice.
What you got? What you got?
I'm just playing. But that was pretty specific.
Oh.
Just let me know. You can have it for $30.
Or less. I don't care. Get out of my shop. It's one of those things, man. Like, we all have those tools that we get and we're like, oh man, we're going to utilize this. We tell our wives, hey, it's going to be, something that is used every day in the shop. Get it in the shop. We use it. We look around. We're like, yep, where's that corner? And it just collects dust. Or, in AJ's case, stays in the box.
Hey. It's in the box for its own protection. I'm keeping it there so it stays new, and in about like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, it'll be an antique. And then when somebody goes, oh, man, I really wish they still made that old blah, 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 I could sell it for millions. Boom.
I just thought you were trying to open up a hardware store in your garage. That's all.
Whatever helps
Maybe.
you sleep at night, AJ. Just saying.
You know, the only time I remember I have that Porter cable dovetail maker is when I go under my bench to grab something else, and I'm like, oh, that's where I put it. And then I forget about it.
You got to open that, man, and use it at least once to say you did. But with that, Nick, I think I really want to hear some more words from our sponsors.
Oh, outstanding. So we here at Sawdust Nation Podcast would love to thank our sponsors once again. TotalBoat. TotalBoat makes quality epoxy products with outstanding customer service. Check out TotalBoat on their Instagram, Facebook, or their website at totalboat.com. And StickerBeat. They make amazing custom stickers at affordable prices. Use promo code Sawdust Nation, no spaces, all one word, 20% for 20% off today. Thank you, StickerBeat. And that's all for our sponsors.
Well, thank you, Nick. And we just wanted to let you guys know how you can get in contact with us. You could reach. Well, I'm getting at least a good approval. Yeah, I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you.
No, not you, Nick.
Oh, well, thank you. This will be my last episode. It was nice doing it with all of you guys, and I'm out. And before I go, I want to say you can get in contact with me at CraftedInNJ on Instagram. You can get in contact with Nick if you want to let him know how well that sponsor read was and how many things you bought from TotalBoat because of that sponsor read. At MPG, that's NPG Creations on Instagram. And you can get a hold of the lovely Josh from North Country Woodworking on Instagram. And if you want to get a hold of all three of us at the same exact time and then none of us know who to answer, at that moment in time, you can hit us up on, or as Nick would say, you can slide into our DMs over at Sawdust Nation Podcast on Instagram. And if you're not on Instagram and you're listening to this, you want to send us an email with a question, send it to sawdustnationpodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to throw it over to you, Josh. What do you have to say?
So I want to bring up Apple reviews. If you listen to the podcast and you happen to be an Apple user in any aspect, please go on there and rate us 5 stars. If not, I think Walnut the cat is going to find you. I think that's the ongoing thing. And we keep track. It helps our numbers. It helps us get rated higher, which allows, new people to go ahead and experience the Sawdust Nation. And that's what we're about. We're about community. So the more people that know, the more people that listen, the larger the community, the more we can do for you guys. It's just one of those things where it's like woodworking. The more that know, the better. So give us 5 stars. Tell us what you think. Good, bad, the ugly. Rate us 5 stars. And with that, I thank everyone for stopping by, listening, and continuing on this journey. We just recently hit 4,500 downloads. That's a pretty good mile marker for 30 episodes, and we couldn't do it without you. So you have a good week, and go make some sawdust. Anything from you, AJ?
No, but I did want to. When I find this company that sells precision squares, like we were talking about, layout tools, they are actually like they have imperfections in them, but they're not messing up the accuracy of them. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll send it out to you guys as well. But they're really great squares. But like I said, they have like maybe a nick from manufacturing or something. Not nick from MPG, just from manufacturing. And but you can get a quality
with every
square.
purchase, you get a nick.
Yes, you get a nick. But once I find out this company, because it's on the tip of my tongue, and I know I threw this whole show off, but once I find it out, I'll let you guys know, because like I said, they're machinist squares that are really great discount because they can't sell them as brand new since they have a little defect. So I'll let everybody know. I'll post it up in a story, and then we'll go from there. But I wanted to say thank you guys for joining us. I'm talking to you and Nick over here. I appreciate you guys coming on this podcast that myself and Walnut do every Wednesday. I meant Tuesday, Thursday-ish. One day it gets out there. But thank you to everybody listening, and I hope you have a great weekend, and you guys enjoy. I love everybody. I love you all. Nick has something to say.
I just wanted to let everybody know, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time.
Until next time, yes. And Josh, I'll be getting your wood in the mail.
I can't wait to receive it.
And I'm out.
No bye-byes?
No, bye-byes, everybody. Bye-byes.
Sawdust Nation out.
So I really lost my composure there, huh? In the beginning. Oh my goodness. I couldn't hold it together. It just kept getting worse and worse.
Yes, it did. It did with Josh's wood being in the mail. He gave me his wood. I couldn't find the wood, and there's a lot of wood being given and taken, and it's not good. It's not good wood either.
It's mediocre wood.
And then with the slow hardener, oh my gosh.
Oh, I have slow hardener and fast hardener, so however you're feeling that day. I felt like going slow yesterday because I didn't want it to ruin the wood. I didn't want my wood to get ruined.
Sometimes when you go too fast, it's not good either. So
No,
nice slow.
definitely not. Well, when I went slow, it got hot and then it burned and it almost melted through.
Oh, maybe
Yes.
you just meant to go fast, man. Sometimes you're not meant to go slow.
I guess not. I have
This
nothing
whole
on that
episode. Dude, this whole episode was a that's what she said joke.